The Doobie Brothers have just set the internet on fire by shocking fans and critics on what they just did. I'm going to break it all down for you on this edition of the Steve Champagne Radio Show. Welcome to the Steve Champagne Radio Show. Welcome new viewers to the channel. We appreciate that, and especially the I Love Music Army for returning back and checking out another video of ours. And we invite you to join us right here at the Steve Champagne Radio Show, the I Love Music Army, as we affectionately call it, one of the fastest growing channels right here on YouTube, where I read every single comment I do before I go to bed at night and chirp back a lot of times at people because I really enjoy the conversation, the education, and the different points of view from everybody all over the world right here on this channel. We're not AI, and you know what? I haven't shaved or anything like that because it's No Shave November for prostate cancer. You're not supposed to shave if you're a guy in the month of November, and you're supposed to do that on Thanksgiving morning, shave clean, unless, of course, you're trying to do the Santa Claus thing for Christmas in December, and you're already halfway there by not shaving for an entire month. So I'm looking a little gruffy, but it's okay. Let's get to this Doobie Brothers thing, because I'm going to tell you what they did. More bands should do it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's a lot of bands out there that are on tour, and people are like, oh, they're terrible, they should retire, or they should give it up, they should go home, it's not good, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And that's true. And there's a lot of bands out there that sound great, but then you find out that they're lip syncing, or they're using tracks, or they're not playing. So there's a lot of this stuff going on out there thanks to cell phones and inside information and roadies talking and all this stuff. But the Doobie Brothers have shut everybody up. They have shut everybody up with what they just did. And if you haven't heard about it, I'm going to tell you about that now. The big three, meaning Tom Johnston, Michael McDonald, Patrick Simmons, just went and did a Tiny Desk concert. Now, if you're not familiar with Tiny Desk, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's basically where they shove you into this little tiny desk area. You don't even have room to put up a full drum set. There's no effects. There's no nothing. It's raw. It's just like, you know, like you were in somebody's living room and playing these songs. There's no fancy production, no lighting, no nothing. And there's usually a crowd that watches them from behind this little thing. And I've seen a lot of bands through Tiny Desk. But there's more to the story than that. And that's what I want to get to. They start off with Taking It to the Streets. They do Black Water. Listen to the music towards the end there. And all of these guys are singing these songs. And you can hear it, you can see it as clean as you can possibly hear it perfectly. Except Patrick Simmons was a little rough on Black Water at the beginning, and then he got in the zone. I guess he had to get his voice warmed up. You never know about these things. This thing could have been filmed at 10 in the morning for all I know. You know, musicians don't wake up that early. But, you know, the only complaint I really have about it was I didn't like the drums. The guy was using brushes, and I don't think he played it well. He's not very, shall we say, I think he could do a better job on the brushes. You know, he just really needed a better feel. He tried to beat it a little bit too much, in my opinion. But other than that, the musicianship from the big three, as well as the other guys that they had in the band, were fantastic. They all did exactly what they do with the big production, but it was scaled down so you could really hear them play their instruments. And it was phenomenal, in my opinion. Now, the Doobie Brothers are really the first big band to do a Tiny Desk concert. There have been a lot of other Tiny Desk concerts, but let's say all these bands that want to shut the critics up, instead of getting on a magazine or doing an interview saying, oh, they're just haters. You go to the Tiny Desk concert and prove it, you know? And there are bands out there that should give it up. David Lee Roth comes to mind. Motley Crue's Vince Neil comes to mind. I would love to see Sebastian Bach do a Tiny Desk concert personally. I would love to see that because he's really good. And you know, as of late, Paul McCartney's voice is pretty much shot. But at his age, what do you expect? And I understand you want to see these people, and you know, I'm torn back and forth between should they retire, should they not retire. On one part, it's like you want to remember them for what they were, and on the other side, you're like, hey, this is all these guys have ever known since they were kids. They just played music their entire life, and you're just asking them to stop and just travel and go around and shake hands and be high and you know, no. They want to have fun. They enjoy it. You know, let them do it. If you want to buy a ticket to see them, great. I think ticket prices are a little outrageous, but I understand why. That's another video and another topic. But what do you think, I Love Music Army? Again, I read every single comment. I want to hear what you have to say. Did you see the Tiny Desk concert? What's your favorite Doobie Brothers song? What, everything I just said. Talk to me. Shine it in the comments section down there, that big bright light of education that a lot of you give me. And if I mispronounce something or don't get something right, it's okay. I don't edit these videos. It's not fancy dancy. Like I said, I haven't even shaved for No Shave November. But join us. One of the fastest growing channels on YouTube. We want you to be a special part of it because we have a very bright future. And let's get in on it right now. It's time for us to maybe get a haircut. I mean, it's just, I know, not here, but here. It's just bad. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.